This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 47. From the Desert Comes Fan Service.
Superman.
Hi, welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 47. From the Desert Comes Fan Service. I'm your host, Damien Hicks, and as ever, I am joined by
Paul Hawkins.
And Brett Summers.
So good to hear the music.
We're back in the studio.
Yeah, we are.
We're back.
Which
we're
reminds
back.
me, it's probably worth giving you fair warning. I have terrible wind. Proper bad wind.
We have known you for over 30 years.
Yeah, but it's particularly bad today. I had Thai for dinner, so...
I thought it worked the other way. I thought you were fine unless you eat boring foods. Perfect timing.
Yeah. See, the thing is, that's not going to come out on the recording.
Was it?
Yeah, that won't come out on the recording. But yeah, that was me farting.
You are known for your musical farts.
Yeah. Actually, I do keep meaning to teach myself to do the national anthem, but
Haven't got enough underwear.
no, exactly. Squeeze too hard. Anyway, so in a week that's seen Bill Murray pull off the goal shot of all goal shots, the Brits are currently live as we speak.
Britting away.
Britting away. It's irrelevant for us. I've seen bits of it so far this evening and I've got no idea who anyone is. I recognise the Dow, but...
Liam was on there.
Liam?
Liam Gallagher, I just called him Liam.
Oh, right, fair enough.
I believe Wolf Alice just done something.
Did they? I missed that.
And I believe her name's Maya Jama. I spotted her.
Okay. I was doing the sound check, so I missed all that. Anyway, I just feels weird back in the studio.
I know, it's been so long.
I can see you both in person and not just Paul's chin.
I can see you, baby.
You're regretting it already.
I am. So then, who wants to go first? What's been going down in Groovetown? Who's had some really exciting TV news to tell us about?
Well, I've escaped from COVID jail, so that's a big step forward.
Hence being back in the studio.
Oh, yeah. So that's all good. Yeah, and then it was back to work, really. So that was.
So you must have watched loads of stuff.
Yeah, but I think we talked about most of it last week. That's what I was trying to do. Like, talked about that last week. Talked about that.
You've been busy posting onto the Cult Faction website, though, haven't you?
I've been obviously keeping up to news with all the super rock and pop news that's going on down on there, of all the new shows and new things coming out. And also, just catching up on a few TV tidbits that I can share if you'd like me to share now.
Please do. Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's the time and the place. I was very excited that season 15 of the cult comedy Always Sunny in Philadelphia hit Netflix in the UK. I was less excited when I finished watching it.
Really?
I don't want to say it's jumped the shark, but
It's jumped the shark.
I could say, well, the whole thing is and this is a favourite of yours, Damien, they go to Ireland.
Oh, brilliant.
But
did they listen to BBC World Service?
no, but it was probably less Irish than the Sons of Anarchy went to Ireland.
At least they actually filmed some shots.
Yeah. There are some shots there, and whatever TV show they're from, I'm sure was really good. And Cole Meany even makes an appearance.
Of course he does.
He's pretty cool. No, it's nothing wrong with it, but it just wasn't. I don't know. I'd almost want to say it's like it felt a little bit restrained. I don't know if they were filming through COVID, so that might have affected things, obviously, and all that. Because
that's not an excuse to not be funny, though.
Yeah, but there's only about 8 episodes this season. Normally it's about 12, 15. But I know that had something to do with it. But it was just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit harsher on it or something. But there were some really nice moments where basically there's an episode where the first episode of the season they review like the last year, and basically anything that's happened majorly in the US events calendar had something to do. It's basically Forrest Gump, but all the bad stuff, including Rudy Giuliani's hair and how the hair dye melted on his head.
Yeah,
And so everything, there's loads of stuff that ties into all sorts, including Jeffrey Epstein. So, you know, so they're not afraid to go places, but then sort of as it went on, you kind of get this story of how they, I don't want to give it away if you don't want to watch it, because it kind of developed, well, they need to go to Ireland. And it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, for someone that's normally quite cutting edge and doesn't care about, you know, what it covers or who it might upset, a bit like South Park, you know, they'll go for everyone. So it's fair game. I don't know, it just seemed a bit refrained, if that's a word. Maybe
It is a
held
word.
back.
I'm
Yeah,
not,
it's
not
definitely
entirely
a
sure
word.
it fits in the.
I just felt held back. Maybe, you know, like, oh, maybe should we do that or not? And they didn't. Whereas in previous seasons they would have gone, yeah, let's just do it. Screw it, you know, we'll go for it.
Should have been a
Whereas-
bit more like Jimmy Carr and
yeah,
just gone for it.
a bit more of that. So that was, yeah, is probably worth a watch. But if you're a long time fan, you may feel, I mean, the average person might watch it and go, oh, that was really funny. But for me, like some of the places they've gone and the
Oh, I
things
like
they've
that.
covered,
By saying that, he's not the average person. Oh no.
no, the average,
He's a connoisseur.
Yeah.
no, the average
Of It's
fan,
Always
I
Sunny.
said, like if that was the only series you watched of Only Sunny in Philadelphia, you might think that's really funny. But then if you went and see some of the other stuff they've done and where they've gone and where they've taken things, you'd be like, oh, okay. It was almost like the sort of, I don't know,
Right, it's
just felt a bit PG to their normal 15. But there are some really clever moments through it. But as a whole, as a season, you know, there are some good episodes. But as a season, I didn't feel it had the bite that previous seasons have had. But that could be because of COVID and
So
whatever they had to do.
How many seasons are there? What number is this?
This is season 15.
Oh, that might be why
So
then.
that you know.
Yeah, but last 14 was really good. They've actually been getting better in recent years because I think they've got braver with what they're doing because you know, like no one's going to cancel us now.
Or maybe they've had a secret wrap across the knuckles, and that's why it's been toned down.
Yeah. Well, again, and also they're buying football teams and things now, aren't they?
True. Yeah.
And all that sort of thing. So I think attentions might be diverted elsewhere. They're all
Is that
of
why
them
you
are-
wanted to go to Ireland so you could take a pit stop on the way?
over the Rex or whatever it was.
And check out some hurling
But,
teams as
but
well.
that's the thing because most of them, all of them, all five of them, including Dan DeVito, have all just got other stuff in the works as well. So I don't know if it's getting, maybe it's too busy. They're too busy to commit as much as they used to. I don't know. There could be a whole host of reasons, but we will see. We will see. There is a season 16, so we'll see if it can
See if
bounce
it
back.
improves. Cool. So I realised, and it kind of went straight into that. And as host, it would have been remiss of me now not to stop you and go, Paul, how are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
And I didn't really. Sorry
did-
if that came across a bit Friends Joey then, didn't it? How are you doing?
I'd just like to state for the record, I did ask if I should start talking.
I know.
And you beckoned me on. You beckoned me on.
It's all my fault.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. We actually, well, plugging on with work as always, like most of us. But we actually ventured out this weekend. We went for a meal, and then we also went to the cinema.
Ooh, cinema.
Yeah.
The real cinema with people and everything.
Well, I had a few people. I mean, luckily enough, we were the only ones on our row, so you didn't feel enclosed after all the time of not going to the cinema.
What kind of cinema was it?
The nice one with the nice leather seats that recline.
Oh, cool. Not
Yeah.
the one with the men in the Rain Max.
So not the one from American Welfare London.
No, nothing
that
like
kind
that.
of cinema.
But we went to see The King's Man,
The King's Man, the prequel.
the prequel about how it all formed. And
I'm
everything like
excited.
that.
I want to see this. Tell me about it.
So, yeah, obviously it's nothing like the two that have already come out, you know, because it's set at the turn of last century. But it is setting up the scene for how the Kingsman came about. Ralph Fiennes stars in it as the lead. You got Harris Dickinson who plays his son, Gemma Arterton who plays. And I'm sure she's just going to be a servant in it. Oh no, she isn't. She's a badass member of what will be the Kingsman. A really surprise performance, and I didn't actually realise who it was at the time. But it was Rhys Ifans, who plays. I'm almost reluctant to say who he plays because the song's going to get in my head, which it has been for the last few days. But he plays Rasputin in it. Yes, he plays Rasputin, and he actually does a really good job of being this crazy Russian dude. It's a good film. It's not as high octane as some of the other two, but it's done really, really well. Tries to bring some of the poignancy, the
lore, the
melodrama
legacy.
of the First World War as well. So for anyone that studied the First World War, Franz Ferdinand turns up in it, not the band, but the Archduke. He doesn't appear in it for too long, obviously.
Are you just determined to get a lot of music references into this conversation?
But when you say Rhys Ifans, is that Rhys Ifans, lead singer of The Path?
And friend of Super Furry Animals.
Yes.
But it goes back to the First World War. You see some of, it's not a war film. It's not the gritty, tear-jerking,
It's no Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, but there are some deep moments in it, and some, oh my god, that just happened, didn't it? Okay, didn't expect that kind of moments. And Ralph Fiennes does a really good job. He is his own character, so it's not like they've tried to take the newer films and just plonk a replacement into the 1900s. He stands up well, does a good job. And yeah, I highly recommend going to see it. It's really good.
Well, I like the other two, so
Nothing like those.
Yeah, but as a franchise, yeah, it's still part of that franchise, isn't it? So it's like I'd be interested to see the origin of said franchise.
I don't want to give too much away.
No, that's fair enough. It's only just out,
fair enough.
and yeah, I might kill you. Right, Damien, what have you been watching?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh well.
Genuinely.
Not even some Mr. Tumble action.
No. So,
or whatever it is nowadays. Is he still going? Is the tumble still tumbling?
Of course he is. No, I haven't watched anything. I've been out.
Ooh.
Actually went for a curry over the weekend and stuff like that. So
I'm worried about your bodily digestion system. Curries, ties.
Well, if I could, I'd have curry every night.
That's what his engine runs on.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I haven't actually watched anything. So this is a conversation you're going to have to carry on with yourselves.
No, fair enough. You're not even been to San Marie this week?
No.
Oh. I'll hold back on that then. I have watched then the new season of South Park has debuted in the UK. After it's been off for a little while, then they did their sort of COVID special and then their post-COVID special and all that. And the new season has kicked off now, and again they've gone back to being more clever than offensive. I believe this is season 25.
That's probably why I'm just not fussed. There was a time and place for it. I enjoyed it when.
Oh no, it's probably better now than it was then.
I know. It's just the idea of just going back. I done it. Been there, done it.
Do it. It's still good.
Yeah.
They've kept it going. They've matured the humour as the series has developed, and this one's even weirder because Pajama Day is coming up at school, and then Cartman's class or the kids' class, Mr. Garrison thinks they're laughing at him or something, so then they get told off, and they're not allowed to have Pajama Day, and then it's sort of somehow breaks across the city that these kids couldn't have Pajama Day. So then people start protesting their right to have Pajama Day and start wearing pajamas when they didn't need to wear pajamas because Pajama Day. And then the people that got Pajama Day decided that they could wear pajamas, but to support that they didn't need to wear pajamas. And then by the end of it, it was almost like, well, should I wear it or not? And should I do it or not? And it was kind of like, and everyone forgot what they were campaigning for in the first place. And yeah, it was very much a mask allegory in the current COVID climate. It was just kind of, and what people are campaigning for. And it was cleverly done. I've rushed over it a lot there, and there's a lot of little bits in that were very cleverly set out. And obviously, Cartman has his own ways of trying to then manipulate what's going on.
Of course he does.
And yeah, but no, it's good to see it back. It's still as relevant as ever, and I still can't believe they make each episode in a week now just to keep it up to date.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's going to be stock animation, isn't it? So it's just it's the writing bit.
Yeah,
That's all computers nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, they're not cutting out all the little bits anymore.
Did you go back and watch Legend of Vox Machina?
I haven't had a chance yet.
Okay.
I have got it still on my list. I also did watch, based on Damien's recommendation last week, One Night in Soho,
Oh yeah.
which I now own the Blu-ray too.
As you do.
And yeah, no, very impressed with that. I thought there was a couple of bits that could have been a bit more cleverer on, but that's just me. But it was still really, really good though. There was I feel, I messaged it to you. I don't want to say it on here in case anyone will watch it. But I feel one of the revelations could have been made more of, maybe involving General Zod. Because it was
When you
kind
say
of,
made more of, so, do you mean it should have been signposted more? Because
well, not necessarily signposted more, but it was
Got it
just
straight
someone.
away.
Yeah, but it was just someone who was in it for 5 seconds before, and it was if we'd seen maybe the character in the past do something apart from just turn up, sit there, smoke a fag, and walk off again.
yeah,
Because it was just oh.
yeah, I know what you
Do you
mean.
know what I mean? It was just and then it went, so that was.
Yeah, but it's because they were pointing you They were basically pointing you towards the same.
Yeah,
thought
no, I
process.
agree with that, but I didn't think there was enough of the other one to when it was who it was. You weren't like, oh my god, that was that guy, because we didn't really know who that guy was. He just said a couple of bits and walked off. If it was kind of a bit more, almost not, I don't want a Kaiser Sose revelation in the cup
Yeah.
dropping, but just that kind of, I just sort of felt it was a bit more, I don't know, a bit more meat to it. Then it would have been it would have made a bit more
I think that
there was-
would have been better had his character in the present day been fleshed out a bit more.
yeah, again, sort of,
I
at
mean,
the
that's
beginning,
what the problem is that his character in that bit, in any part of the future, is just very one-dimensional. You know, sitting at the bar, walking across the bar, walking down the street, kind of pretty much shouting abuse.
yeah.
At him. That's it. That's all you see of him. Whereas,
Well, yeah,
they'd
both
tried to
bits
make
I
him
say,
look a bit
yeah.
darker.
No,
then
that was
that
the bit. That was the
revelation
one
would
bit
have
I thought that could have been, I don't know, somehow done. But I did like how they'd done it all, and I don't know how I missed that it was.
Whoa.
No, not that. I just know how I missed it. It was Dinah Rigg playing the lady that
Oh,
lives
okay.
downstairs. Because I didn't even.
It's only
And,
because I saw a name come
Yeah,
up. in
no,
the
I think I
credits,
saw
so
it now. And then as it carried on, I'd forgotten. When you start watching it, and then I forgot she's in it, and then at the end it was like, oh yeah, and it was like, yeah, and I thought that was a nice touch because she was 60s glam, wasn't she? She invented 60s glam in this country. You can have your pop stars. Give me Diana, give me Emma Peel and the Avengers. But no, I thought it was really well put together. Edgar Wright is a genius film director. Everything he does is really good and different to what he does before. And I look forward to more of the same or not the same from him.
So I wish I would have spent the time and money to watch One Night in Soho, as opposed to spending the time and money to rent Matrix Resurrection.
Oh, you crazy fool! There's no one to blame but yourself for that.
I'm the eternal optimist, Damien. Optimist.
I refer you to my article on cultfaction.com. Do
So-
we need another Matrix film?
so-
the answer's no.
I hear Tina Turner singing that as well.
As Brett mentioned about One Night in Soho, which is from a director that does something different every time, and it's revolutionary almost. There was almost a pun intended. You come to Matrix Resurrections, which is pretty much exactly the same as we've all seen before. It is just a waste of time and money. It's not surprising that they potentially haven't made back the amount of money it cost them to make
No,
the
they're
film.
still 40 grand short, apparently, worldwide.
£40,000, is that
No,
all?
40, whatever. There's a few more zeros.
Yeah,
I think it's 40 million.
So that would be a win in there, but
yeah. But it's I don't know why I did it. As I mentioned it, I wanted it to be good, and that was probably my big mistake, because it just felt like they brought the gang, well, not the whole gang either. A new Morpheus for no reason. and they tried to explain that away.
Yeah, the other one knew what was coming.
Yeah, but they tried to explain it away, but didn't really. It's like, well, he's not really Morpheus then, is he? He's just someone that you've called Morpheus that doesn't really do the job of Morpheus anymore. Keanu Reeves. The problem is I got a lot of time for Keanu Reeves. He's a really nice bloke in real life. He does a lot of good, a lot of work for charity. He always bigs up his co-stars and people that he works with. He sounds like a genuinely decent guy that's trying to live pretty much a normal life. You know, he's gone through a lot of stuff and, you know, turned out to be a great person. But you've seen Neo in 3 films. This is just him almost being Neo again, but they've tried to make it, oh, but he's not really Neo. He's more of a advanced Neo, and he starts the film being a bit more successful, but always feeling like something's missing. What could that missing thing be? Oh, it's Trinity. And then he sees Trinity, but she's not Trinity anymore. She's married and she's got kids. There's no way she's going to leave that lifestyle to join him and try and save the world that isn't the world, is there? Oh, which pill will they take? Yeah, I mean, it's just all so disappointing. I literally finished watching the film going, rah, that's so disappointing. Because, you know, you kind of think, 3 of us in a room together, if we had to write a script for a new Matrix film, we wouldn't want to do it, but we'd do it for the money. And we'd come up with something a lot better than this. And it annoyed me because, you know, with all the promo going off, you know, hearing Keanu say, you know, I love the script, I'm desperate to come back and work with the characters because it was bringing them all forward. It's like, well, it's not though. It's just putting them back into the past, in the future, if that makes any sense. And yeah, just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't waste your money.
Just don't give them the benefit of getting that extra 40 million to break even.
Just to get the actual production budget, so that's not including marketing, was 190 million, and it's currently made back 155.5 million. So you can probably add you can probably double that for the advertising budget. Doesn't it end up with like Ted has to fight Doogie Howser at the end?
I'm not giving anything away, just in case you should watch it.
It's never going to happen.
Doogie Howser, as you rightly point out, is in the film.
Oh, sorry, Barney Stinson. Let's give him some credit. But I didn't want to tar Barney with the Matrix brush.
There was a point in it where I was hoping he would turn around and say, "Have you met my friend Neo?" Something
Neo,
like that.
suit up.
As he's going through one of his sessions. But no, he couldn't even save the film. And even his character wasn't as good as it could have been. I won't give out too many spoilers, but just don't watch it anyway.
I certainly had no intention to. I made that decision last year when they first started giving all the bullshit about it. So,
well, apparently it's exciting because Tom Hardy appears in uncredited background cameo appearance.
Great.
Because apparently they were filming Venom in the same bit, so he's in the background
Just
somewhere.
popped across.
Yeah, but okay then. So out of 10?
No. Anyway, I'm done with that now.
Okay. Anything nice that you'd like to think about to get away those horrible memories?
So I did watch one film that I didn't have. Not that I had too many high hopes for Matrix, but literally had none for this because I hadn't really seen much about it. But this is Naked Singularity. I think it's just on Sky Premiere or something. So this is John Boyega, Olivia Cook, Bill Skarsgård, and Ed Skrein that you'll know when you see him. He's been in loads of stuff.
I recognise the name. I'm trying.
And John Boyega plays a New York City public defender trying to do good for people that can't get any other lawyer. You know, so they're real down and out. So he's got, has to, represent them and try to make sure that they don't go into jail for unreasonable amounts of time or to try and get them off if at all possible. And he's, always rubbing the judge up the wrong way because he's fed up with how, it's unfair and the system's unfair. And, he makes goes off on a limb, tries to do something that he shouldn't do, and almost gets disbarred for doing it. and then at the same time, one of his friends is all like a geek and not science fiction, but like a physics geek, and is realizing or pointing out to him that the universe that they're in, as part of the wider multiverse, is in essence coming to an end. And it's a bit weird, and I'm not doing it any justice, but that's the kind of spiel to it.
You're really not.
No, but if you're going to do something big, do it now, because the universe as we know it may be coming to an end. And he kind of takes a turn and realizes that he needs to do something and maybe take as I said, a turn away from being this burned out defender, and he tries to do not an Ocean's 11 type deal, but that kind of thing where they steal multi-million dollars worth of drugs from one of his nasty clients. Again, I don't want to go into it too much because I think it's actually worth a watch. And this has actually got slated, so I'm not quite sure what that means in my opinion. But I didn't mind it because at least it's a little bit different. And we speak a lot about the same stuff that they're regurgitating all the time, i.e. Matrix, or some of the other vampire or zombie
all the
films.
remake things that are coming out.
And at least you think, well, actually someone's trying to do something a bit different. And John Boyega is actually quite good in it. If I'm being picky, or if I'm making points about his performance, I couldn't help watch him thinking, did you just watch Denzel Washington being a lawyer in one of his old films and just like pinch all of his acting? Because a lot of the mannerisms and this is a visual thing, so on the podcast it's not going to make any sense, but like when Denzel Washington's thinking, or he's a bit miffed or with a decision, he'll go with his bottom lip and chin, and do a little stern little face.
And he does a lot of mouth acting.
Yeah, and John Boyega does pretty much that exact same thing. But I quite liked it. There's a bit of action, which is good. There are some twists and turns, which are good. Is it going to win an Oscar? No, absolutely not. But as I said, fair play for trying to do something a bit different. And John Boyega is trying to do other roles that aren't just Pacific Rim, or getting away from the old Star Wars noose around his neck, as it were, from an acting perspective, and I didn't mind it.
Well, I've not heard of it, so
I mean, if you look on the likes of IMDb, then that probably wouldn't want to make you watch it. But compared to a lot of the other crap out there, it is a bit different. And don't worry, it's not too over on the physics, science stuff.
Geekiness.
Yeah, it's more about crime, capers, as it were, and a bit of action more than anything else.
Cool. Okay, Mr. Summers, any other televisual delights you'd like to make us aware of the past week?
BBC's Death and Paradise continues to deliver.
So,
as you're not, I don't want to go. I won't
No,
go into too
yeah.
much but this week's guest star included I've forgotten her name now, but she's Billy Piper's mum in Doctor Who, and she was the love interest in King Ralph.
I know who you mean. Yeah.
But she was on it, and it's gonna bug me. But yeah, anyway, that was still good. Still.
So has it moved away from its weekly format? As because
I would say we are moving more back into it, but again, there's something in. I can't say,
Okay,
but
fair
something
enough.
in without ringing the spoiler
Well, I mean, I
out.
think it's fairly obvious that I can't remember. I remember Ralph Little. That's the only, and I can't remember what his actual name is in the show. Neville. I think it's obvious that the woman is leaving, but is that the end? She goes off on her undercover thing, and that's it. We don't
You
see
need
her
to
again.
watch it, sir.
Okay.
You need to watch it. And also, I believe I'm going to tag this now. I believe Peacemaker is going to be the new Cobra Kai. And in
Sure, you
it,
said that last week.
yeah, well, I'm going to say it even more now. But in that way of like everyone that watched Cobra Kai when it was on YouTube and told everyone how cool it was, and then when it finally came on Netflix, people going, "Oh my god, have you seen Cobra Kai? It's amazing!" I'm like, we've been telling you that for ages. And yeah, soundtrack alone is this man is getting some
I'm gonna
deep
take,
cuts.
I take issue with that analogy or comparison purely because not the Punisher. What would you call
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker is already coming off the back of
Oh no,
a very successful film in very recent
no,
history.
no one had heard the
Cobra
karate.
Kai.
No one
What,
had
the
heard of the
Karate Kid isn't?
Let me finish. Karate Kid was a very successful film in 1980.
Yeah,
And 2 and 3.
Wow.
And the Karate Kid.
The next Karate Kid.
No,
Yeah.
no. 1 and 2, then it starts to tail off. So I don't necessarily agree with that.
No, I'm
that
more on the fact that
comparison.
it's out there now and no one's watching it. And in about
Well, that's 'cause no one over here's got the opportunity to watch it. It's not
Okay,
on
just-
anything because it's on.
let's not
it'll
get
be
into
on Sky Max
let's
at
not
some
get
point.
into the legalities.
Although
saying.
they are shooting themselves in the foot with their
Yeah,
not
the
sorting
fact
it
they
out.
haven't done it yet. Yeah.
because that may lead people to look elsewhere.
Oh yeah. So I would say I'm the just James Gunn must have a deeper knowledge of music than he does filmmaking, because the stuff he digs down and pulls out, and you're like, oh my god, it's that one, and then you're just suddenly, like I'd forgotten about that song for years, and then it's in there, and it's cool stuff as well.
Call the gang. So is that it? Have we reached the end of the?
I believe
TV?
that's
Oh, no,
everything
no,
I
we
watched. I'm
haven't.
trying to think if I've seen
We
anything
haven't.
else.
So
Oh.
refer to the Legend of Vox Machina earlier. I watched a few more episodes of that this week and still really enjoying it. Yeah, go off and give it a watch.
I promise I'll give it another go.
If you like vulgar little dwarves fighting big bad
Who
monsters,
doesn't?
Yeah.
singing rock tunes with their lute and all of their other companions that are trying to fight evil in their own mischievous way. Carrying on with How I Met Your Mother, I'm somewhere down the ranks of season 2 at the moment. It's hard to know where I am at the moment because you just stream them one after the other, but that's still good. Worthy mention for The Servant, the latest episode of that dropped last week. That is still going okay and certainly worth a watch. Thumbs down to Trigger Point. I said I was only going to do a thumbs up or thumbs down to Trigger Point. Thumbs down. It's not good. She still hasn't got what it takes to be a bomb disposal expert. And, this is supposed to be her job. She still takes off her helmet when getting near a bomb. She wears it all the way up, then takes it off. She was, trying to deactivate a bomb with a mercury switch that was at
Just
an
refer
angle.
you to your previous comment. It was a
Yeah, but I
thumbs
need
up or
to.
a
I
thumbs
need
down.
to.
Just
I need to vent. That it was at an angle, so
Online therapy.
it can't be disturbed. Otherwise, it's going to blow. She's running out of time. She's only got like a minute left, so she starts getting a hammer to the door to try and get rid of the hinges. And you just, what are you doing? That is not what bomb disposal people do. Silly. And yeah, anyway, it just winds me up. So yeah, thumbs down. Last thing I'm going to mention, if you haven't seen it, All of Us Are Dead. You need to watch it.
Boba Fett bit, Boba Fett bit, Boba Fett bit,
Boba Fett bit.
Boba Fett bit,
Boba
Boba Fett
Fett
bit.
bit.
That's right. It's your favourite part of the show and mine. It's the Boba Fett bit. So what we up to? Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
From the desert comes a stranger.
Indeed. Go on then.
So
I'm not going first this time.
no, I think the problem is they called the series the wrong name. If they'd have called it something different, we'd all be loving it.
See, I've got
I am loving it.
Tatooine, Rise of the Underworld, or Tatooine, A New Dawn. That would be a better title.
Tatooine. You're closer. You think Tatooine a Crimson Dawn?
Whatever. Just not the Book of Boba Fett. I
Well-
mean, what would it take to actually have Boba Fett in an episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
And the
for
thing
more than
is,
5 minutes.
he hasn't even read anything yet.
Oh, it should be like Jon Favreau is saving Star Wars. Something like that.
That film will happen. Jon Favreau, protector of the childhood, protector of memories. He'll come. But no, it is what it is. But the main thing is, it's not shit.
It's really good. The last 2 episodes have probably been some of the best Star Wars stuff that's been released for about 30 years, 40 years.
Is it, though?
30. It is.
Yeah.
There's a reason I called this episode fan service.
Yeah.
Because that's all it was. The entire episode was just, let's put as many references to the original 3 trilogies in as we can.
But
almost shot by shot when he's running through the woods with Baby Yoda, whatever his name is, on his back.
But it calls on so much of the wider Star Wars universe that has been either in cartoon form or alluded to, or written down. And to be fair, I haven't read any of the books that I'm aware of. I'm just racking my brain to think maybe I did. And I've watched a few of the cartoons over the years, but not avidly. And they're trying to do as much as they can to pull on the old heartstrings for devotees of the original trilogy, and also some of the new content, the bits that people were actually interested in what happened to Luke and the Jedi.
Well, that's always been the bit we all wanted to see. We wanted to see what happened to Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi, where he's like a kick-ass, badass Jedi.
Make Luke Skywalker the next chapter.
We may get that.
Maybe it will. But he's
looking
also
that way. I will say, just on that, he looks a lot better than he did at the end of the Book of Mandalorian, doesn't he? They've definitely up. There were a couple of bits. It was a bit.
I was going to say that actor they've got to play Luke Skywalker now really looks like Mark Hamill, doesn't he? It's just ridiculous how good he looks.
He was in it last week as well. he was apparently the guy who was the young X-wing pilot. When Boba Fett, Mandalorian's checking out his new spaceship, and you got the old X-wing pilot we saw before, and there was a young guy next to him going, "No, I'll just let you go." That was the body double Luke Skywalker. It's like, don't worry, you've got a name now. You're a person yourself as well. You can go to the conventions now. You can have an action figure. You're not just like Luke's body double.
It's not only is it selling the next series of Mandalorian, it's got Ashoka selling her.
Well, I want to see a Cobb Vanth series now as well. I'm liking the Marshall dude.
Yeah, and again, in true Jon Favreau style, he's reigniting the Star Wars universe, and you can already see him thinking about other series to come.
Yeah. And obviously, Cad Bane turning up at the end as well was like amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I like Timothy Oliphant doing Cobb Vanth. Brilliant. And okay, there are a few bits where you kind of think, is that something Luke would do? I.e., making Grogu choose a lightsaber or
he's just become an arsehole.
But they did that to Luke, didn't they?
So you can have a lightsaber, which is
doesn't mean
really cool.
Don't you learn from your mistakes?
Well, he does eventually, doesn't he? Because that's what we get to when we get to when we see him later on in the newer trilogy.
No, that's gone. The new trilogy's dead. Everyone accepts that. But here's a cool lightsaber, or here's like a mithril shirt from Lord of the Rings. What do you want?
As my boss from work put out,
let him have both.
As my boss from work pointed out, he went, "Take the lightsaber. You're going to outgrow the vest. It won't fit after a while." But I suppose it will take him a few hundred years.
Yeah, and he could forge something new out of it.
I really liked the Grogu flashback where we saw Order 66 from his point of view, and we saw the stormtroopers and that, or the clone troopers taking out all the Jedi and stuff. People were saying, well, that's changed now because Anakin killed all the younglings. It's like, we saw that in the film, and I'm like, well, it hasn't changed anything. There could have been other ones. You know, it doesn't mean he you know, there could have been other things. Maybe he was somewhere else. Maybe he'd already been moved because they knew what was coming on. Well, I'm guessing we'll find that out. Probably that'll be the whole next season of The Mandalorian. But you know, it doesn't have to have changed anything. It could have happened somewhere else, or maybe he was in the room next door, or maybe he tried to go out another way and got caught, or whatever. You know, I imagine as Anakin started slicing up all the Jedi younglings in the temple in Revenge of the Sith, they didn't all stand there and go, "What are you doing, Annie?" They probably ran for their fucking lives, as you would do as you were getting massacred. Sorry for the swearing, but so you know, maybe they were doing that, and that was at the other door or something. You know, there's hundreds of ways of explaining it.
reasons.
But there's a whole thing now that Anakin saved him. I'm like, why? Because you know he killed them all and he let him live. It's like, well, no, maybe he escaped. That's nowhere in that at all. We didn't even see Anakin. It's just like people being hopeful because Anakin was still good. It's like, no, that was his first act of Darth Vader was massacring loads of kids, and I waited 3 movies for that to happen. And what do we get? We get a door shut and you hear like a noise because George Lucas would never show anything. And whilst I agree that sometimes it's best implied, we had to sit through Hayden Christensen for 3 films. I wanted to see him do something cool at least once. Well, twice because he Padme, but that's a different thing. But yeah, I think it's like you say, it's dangling the threads back to the older films, and it's pulling in a lot of threads from the cartoon series as well. And you know, Ahsoka Tano is always been awesome. Live action, I think it works. Other people disagree because like her head's a slightly different color or something. You know, chowder head stuff.
Yeah, she's not a cartoon.
Yeah, you know, and also you know she's she's older now than she was in the Clone Wars because what is it 40 odd? What would be the actual real human time difference? Because the Clone Wars were the original trilogy. It's what 40, 50 years later now. Do we reckon?
Well, no, because Anakin had Luke. That wasn't too much after that, was it?
Well, it was a few years before. So let's say Luke at this point is 30.
Can we say 27? Because that's the age where people should be when they're cool.
Okay, let's say Luke's 27 at this point. Yeah, but now I've got to add up the numbers. 30 is easier. So, so we're saying it could be 40 to 45 years ago. Then that she would be 45 years older than she was in the Clone Wars. So, you know, and
You do know there's now people screaming at.
Oh god, yeah, chowder
headphones
heads across
or
heads across the world all screamed out at once. It was a disturbance in the force. But
all we need to worry about is a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. And the nice twist at the end, though, I did like is, as I say, just as you think you've got everything in place, they put Cad Bane onto the Star Wars chessboard and the vicious bounty hunter who was actually trained for a little bit by Jango Fett.
Is that little holographic chessboard?
It could be, which you can now buy, apparently. Ooh. I don't know if it's...
It is my birthday next week, just to say.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not buying you a holographic chessboard. You can have a picture of it.
Okay.
But, yeah, you know, so again, brings out a character from the folklore from the past cartoons. Obviously, someone will moan because I think he was the wrong shade of blue.
Right, okay, let's spin it round then, because I really enjoyed it, you really enjoyed it. Damien's made some negative comments, but I want to get what he really feels.
Go on then, Damien.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it.
There we go, that's what I just wanted to hear. No, you can finish.
No, I'm not finishing now. You've asked me
Damien
a question.
really enjoyed it. There we go.
Yeah.
Go on, carry on.
Of the editing. But it annoyed me, because again, Boba Fett's in it for probably a maximum of 5 minutes, if that. It's another Mandalorian episode. Far too heavy on the...
I would say this time...
Not the flashbacks, the throwbacks to everything we've already seen before. And if you're going to steal a classic line from Yoda, don't use the one that's already overused in every possible joke line ever. There is no try, only do. It's in everything. Pick another one. Anyone. It doesn't matter which one you pick, because Chowderhead fanboys will beat one out over it anyway.
He's passing on his teachings.
Yeah, but do another one.
But
He
maybe
did- he did
Yoda
do-
wasn't a big speaker, though, was
He
he?
did do the size
Let's
matters
face
not
it.
to a Jedi as well.
Leave it at that then.
Okay, what
And
else?
the frogs. For the love of God, the frogs.
He loves frogs.
No need for that.
Yeah, but Baby Yoda loves frogs. Grogu likes frogs. He eats
Yeah.
their eggs.
But don't spend 5 minutes floating them up in the air, spinning them around, going. Ribbit. It's just.
There
stupid.
has to be some kind of cute animal in a Star Wars film,
It's not a Star Wars film, is it?
or. But that's where
TV show.
That's where John Favreau's coming from, isn't he?
No,
Not that I dare
I thought
say
it-
that and put my own mind in what could be John Favreau's, but
I thought it was magical.
Well, that's your lookout, isn't it?
It was
And then we get the Cylons at the end planting a bomb.
Cylons.
Yeah, that's what they look like. Cylons to me.
You've been correcting me in the Pike Syndicate, like you call them the Pike Gang, and you're like,
No, I'm calling them
Syndicate.
the Cylons from now on. Half expecting Dirk Benedict to look round in the corner of his eye, go, oh,
that would be cool.
I'm waiting for him to turn up as Cobb Vance's dad. But yeah, well, that was cool because I was beginning to think that oh, I can't remember her name. Jennifer Grey was not Jennifer Grey, Jennifer Beal, isn't it?
yeah.
I was beginning to think she might be the one behind it all because she's just sort of running it all from her sort of weird casino because she was in it enough but hasn't really done much.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But now they've bombed her as well, or that might be a double bluff.
Don't think so.
But she might even be dead. But no, I'm really interested to see what happens in Chapter 7 now because they've set the stall up.
Got the band back together.
Yeah, they got the band back together almost. Obviously, the people of Freetown are going to be really annoyed now because I mean, I did feel sorry for the young, eager deputy sheriff because as soon as you saw him, like you might as well put a red shirt on him. He was dying.
Yeah, that was always going to happen.
I'm just intrigued, and I'm guessing, or I'm hoping that episode 7 is going to be like a bit longer.
You reckon?
I'm trying to think back. Did they make it longer for the Mandalorian?
Don't think so.
Well, I'm hoping they do because there seems to be more to tell.
Well, exactly. Last week we were saying, yeah, that's a line. We won't see the Mandalorian again until the next season of Mandalorian.
Or when I told you he'd come back.
Or yeah, but we won't. You know, the next 2 episodes have to be about Boba Fett because there's only 2 episodes left. And what do we get?
Well, this
Baby
I
Yoda.
would say this was more about the Baby Yoda aside, which was the Mandalorian's little side mission. This was more about like Tatooine and what was going on, and we got the joining up of the dots of what they've laid out in the Mandalorian again. But so you do, if you just came in and watched Book of Boba Fett, you do need to go and watch the Mandalorian series. Otherwise, half these things aren't going to make sense.
Yeah.
I like the fact it's Freetown now and not Mos Pelgo and all that sort of thing. So it's progressing, stories are moving on. But
It's the title. They should have called it Tatooine Vice or something.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, we could have walked around with their sleeves rolled up. And
Well, yes.
That's-
Helmet off.
yeah.
That's the next series. But again, we've got our super team now. The Avengers have assembled,
Yep.
and now
I'm in hell, aren't I?
No, because you're enjoying it, and that's
you
the main
like the
thing.
program. Well, I'm wondering if Jennifer Beal turns out that she's like an ex-super sharpshooter, machine gun specialist pilot who can help.
No, that's just one cliche too far.
I don't know.
It is.
I'm seeing her as the American president for Independence Day. It's like we need, we need more pilots, sir. I was a pilot, or whatever it was, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
some crap like that. Unless she is dead, that's great. But like, that just seems really weird that they got her in to do that role to just be blown up in another about.
Oh no,
5
I don't think
minutes.
so. It'll probably turn out that the droid got the bomb far enough away from
Her in
her
particular,
and
or,
the main players in the
just
bar.
come out a little cut in her head and
Yeah,
a scratch. Ugh.
Exactly.
Drink anyone?
Yeah. My round now. If she uses that, I get a point.
Cool. So I think we're done.
Yeah.
So overall, thumbs ups all round.
Yep.
Nope.
Well, you liked it. You just said it
you
was really
liked
good,
it.
and you really liked
No.
it.
I'm enjoying watching the show.
Jesus, you said you really liked it.
This episode annoyed me. It's just too far down
Is it? Could
fanboy service.
So basically, if we took the Grogu bits out, you would have liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a
stuff with
heartless man.
Freetown, the stuff in the bar, all of that stuff.
He said he needed to see Grogu. That's all he did. And then we had to see a little bit about what Grogu was up to.
It's not a little bit about.
We
what
saw a
Grogu's up to, though, is
Jedi
it?
temple being built.
It's like 70% of the show was made up of Baby Yoda.
Okay, well, we've got one to go then. And then, obviously, when we watch it, remember, watch after the credits, because there'll be a teaser for whatever the next show is.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it'll be Obi-Wan. Or maybe they hit us with something else that we don't even know about yet, because I wouldn't even put that past the Favreau.
Well, that would be a revelation
Star
to do
Wars
something new.
Revelations.
This is all
To actually
new.
have a whole episode with not any references to any of the original 3 films, that would be good.
Ewoks uncovered.
News desk.
The news.
News items. News items.
First up, Mr. Summers, we've got some breaking news coming from Japan.
Oh, yes, we have. The 46th season of the Super Sentai has been announced, and it will be called Avataro Sentai Don Brothers, which
It's easy
doesn't
for you to
mean
say.
much to me. And it will be based on the legend of Momotaro, I believe I've said that correctly, which is about a boy who was born out of a peach, if you kind of remember that story. I think there was a weird cartoon about it when we were kids, or something like that. But yeah, so it was about a legend of a boy who was born out of a peach, and then went on and sort of...
I'm guessing
I
his
think
name's
he
not
spoke
James.
to animals, and no, this was way before that.
Does it turn
Actually-
into like a big maggot that then becomes a butterfly?
No, I think he makes friends with animals and then fights
It's
demons
very, very
or something
hungry.
like that. But it will arrive on March the 6th, 2022, where it will replace the 45th series Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. So the Power Rangers will pass the baton on, and it already has a summer movie announced, which apparently isn't sold out. So
Amazing.
the Super Sentai franchise hits its 46th year. They've actually got a series for every episode of this podcast so far. only we did it in less than a year.
That's how good we are.
But yeah, so the franchise continues. I'm guessing in a couple of years' time, this will turn up in North America with a slightly different name and slightly different voices,
No doubt.
and with a few people edited in between. But yeah, the franchise is strong and is still going as it enters its 46th year. Japan are loving it.
Cool. I'd love to add to this conversation, but I've said it before. The whole thing just baffles me. I don't understand
Same
the
here.
appeal. I can't get my head around why it's so popular.
And we will. I will
got
say,
nothing.
we will chase up. We did have a contact who was going to come and talk to us about it, and when we work out how to do that, we will chase you up because, yeah,
Well, I mean,
we
is he
we
local?
would like
Get
it
him in the studio.
explained. No, I think he's.
There's no
from
expenses or
Japan.
nothing.
It'll be on Skype,
Fair
but
dues.
yeah, it will be. We'd like it explained to us the appeal and how it's lasted 46 years consistently as well. We were trying to compare it to something just now, and closest we could think of was Doctor Who, but that had a good break in the middle of many years. But,
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
In fact, let us know if you can think of a series in the UK or
Or
in the
any-
States, a
any
Western series that has lasted as long.
well, 46 seasons,
Yeah.
and that's consistent years.
How many Simpsons?
Oh, good shout. No, that's only,
89?
that's only in the 30s. I think they're only about series 35, 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 89, wasn't it?
Can't remember.
We'll find out, but not right now. I have to wait for him to finish
I
doing
know.
his tune.
I know.
'cause,
I hear you.
Yeah, you're right. It was 89.
I know. I'm that good. Okay, so next up in the news then is the CW have ordered pilots for Gotham Knights, Supernatural, and Walker spin-offs.
With no new ideas on the horizon as far as the CW are concerned, it's time to plunder its back catalogue for more spin-offs. First up is another attempt at a Supernatural spin-off, this time in the guise of the Winchesters. Unlike previous attempts, this will be a prequel series based on Sam and Dean's Winchesters Sam and Dean Winchester's parents, Mary and John, are not Ed. The series will be told from the perspective of narrator Dean Winchester, Jensen Ackles, and is the epic, untold love story of how John met Mary and how they put it all on the line, not only to save their love, but the entire world.
Isn't that a song? Johnny's always running around trying to find certainty. Mary's always
That might even be the theme tune.
I'd love it if it were.
So wasn't
Is it Mary and John in Living on a Prayer as well? Or is that?
No, that was Tommy and
Oh, yeah.
he worked on
Jean
the
or
docks.
something.
Jeannie.
Jeannie.
She worked at Dine All Day apparently.
Yeah.
But
Lucky for a man.
John and Mary. Wasn't that the dude that wasn't that what's his face from The Walking Dead played the dad?
It was. Yeah.
I've forgotten. This
Yeah.
has totally gone out of my head now. The comedian from The Watchmen as well.
Yeah, I've forgotten his name now.
Totally gone out of my head.
Even his real name and the name of the
Yeah.
character he played. No, it was Negan in Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
But yeah, no, I can't remember his name. So, do you want to talk about this and
Oh,
then move
yeah?
on to the other
Well, I
ones?
was going to say, well, we got the Supernatural thing. I've not really watched Supernatural. Is it worthy of a? Is it worthy of a prequel?
No, I don't think there's a story to tell. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because would they have not told it? Because that was about 15 seasons, wasn't it?
Well, no,
That
they
was the
didn't.
first
So
year,
that the first season of Supernatural pretty much started when when Sam and Dean are much older, and you get a little bit of flashbacks about why they do what they do, and then later on, as the series progressed, you saw a bit more about the history of
The family history. Okay.
John and Mary, but I don't know. It just strikes me as I think it's just no new ideas. So let's.
Do we
plunder.
know if Jeffrey Dean Morgan is attached
Well,
to this?
damn you.
I just looked it up.
No, I don't think he is, and there'd be no reason for him to be because obviously
Yeah, he's done his bit.
he's
sort
done
of.
his bit. He
It'll
only
just
popped
be
back for a
weird.
few episodes here and there in the earlier
Okay,
seasons.
so
I
he
think by the
wouldn't-
time he'd launched himself in Walking Dead, I think he'd stopped being in it. Full stop. I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it over the course of the last 2 years. So, but I
Okay,
reckon
then.
the timeline fits that he stopped being in Supernatural when Negan became a main player in
Yeah.
Walking Dead. But they've done a silly amount of attempts at prequels, spin-offs for Supernatural. Most of them were like single episodes within the series
Oh,
itself.
like the old backdoor pilot type
Exactly
thing.
what they call backdoor pilots. None of them worked. Well, none of them got picked up anyway.
Right, keeping on with the Supernatural theme then. The other dude, Jared Padalecki, he's doing a show called Walker, based on, it's a remake of Walker, Texas Ranger, and he's the Chuck Norris this time. And there's going to be a prequel of that called Walker Independence. And it's set around the 1800s and will follow Abby Walker, an affluent Bostonian whose husband is murdered before her eyes whilst on their journey out west on her quest for revenge. Abby will cross paths with Hoyt Rowlands, a lovable rogue who's in search of purpose. Is this just like their attempt to do that? What's that series about the lady that goes back in time to get pounded?
Outlander.
Outlander.
Yeah.
Is this just kind of like
Well,
Outlander
a different
without the
time frame, but yeah, I get your point.
You know, it's like we need a woman in an old dress in the Wild West or something. You know, that other network, that one's working well.
Who's also the hero of
Yeah.
the story.
An uncompromising woman in the 1800s.
I got nothing to. I haven't even watched Walker.
Well, I'm
'cause
just like,
I refuse to
Walker-
accept that anyone could do Walker.
Yeah,
Other than
it gets good ratings. We put the trailers on the website when they the episode trailers, but yeah, just if you Chuck Norris could probably kick his ass now,
exactly.
and he's like 100 now.
Yeah. So the jury's out on that one, I reckon.
We'll see, but it is popular and it has got a big following, so they may follow it across to rather than watching the apparently hot dude from Supernatural as a Texas Ranger. They want to watch a show set in the 1800s about like his great grandmother.
Yeah.
Because it's got
Could be good.
it's got everything that all the women that watch it like about the original show, hasn't it? But we'll see. Finally, and not related to Supernatural, comes Gotham Knights. Set in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Caped Crusader. And as the city's most wanted criminals, this renegade band of misfits must fight to clear their names. But in a Gotham with no Dark Knight to protect it, the city descends into the most dangerous it's ever been. However, hope comes from the most unexpected of places, as the team of mismatched fugitives will become its next generation of saviours, known as the Gotham Knights. The project comes from Natalie Abrams, Jason Stotero, and Chad Fivash, who all worked on Batwoman, sorry, Story X and Fivash. I'm losing interest as I read this.
Yeah.
So it's basically Descendants.
This is
in Gotham.
nothing to do with Gotham Knights as it was as the Gotham Knights
I think we need
in
to
the
make clear that
comic.
it's Knights spelt with a K.
Yeah,
It's nothing. It's not like Baywatch Nights or anything like that.
that was good,
Exactly.
especially the one when
Not quite as good
Mate,
as
he was
Hollyoak
a
Nights, but you know.
they had a frozen Viking in it, played by Sven Torsid, who was LaFour's the mall security guard at Mallrats, and he defrosted and ran rampant across New York, and Hasselhoff got him, or wherever they live.
So they
California.
can't just have bad kids being bad kids. They've got to be good. Bit of a shame.
This is awful.
I'm surprised if they don't start singing and dancing like in Descendants on Disney.
So is this their way of moving away from the kind of Arrowverse they've established? Maybe because a bit of Arrow that was in the future, wasn't it, with the Arrow's daughter
Yeah,
and
much
stuff like
younger
that. So
cast,
maybe
that's
is
right.
that because they tried doing like a Green Arrow and the what they called and the Black Canaries, didn't they? Or Arrow and the Black
Yeah.
Canary. They did a sort of backdoor pilot of that, and that failed. So is this the next attempt? I see a pattern without meaning to go full chowder head. There are certain things that can be accepted, and there are certain things where it's just like you've just pushed that too far, and it's like, you know, Bruce Wayne's been murdered. I bet there's not a body either, so he can come back and mentor them by the end. Because if they're doing that, and they've already announced John Diggle for the Justice U, where it's all these kids at university that he's training. We talked about that the other week. You know, what are they? Are we in the, or are we in the multiverse?
Exactly. This is why I
Warner
I
Brothers-
lose my shit over this nonsense. 'cause
Warner
it's-
Brothers need to get their shit together now.
Yeah. Next up, Netflix have announced a February premiere for Tex Avery-inspired interactive animation from none other than cult faction favourite Charlie Brooker.
Yeah, this is going to be called Cat Burglar, and it's coming from the mind of the man that brought us Black Mirror and Bandersnatch, and it is an edgy animation with over-the-top interactive Tex Avery-inspired cartoons. By answering witty trivia questions, viewers must help Rowdy Cat get one over on Peanut, the security pup, and break into the museum to steal some prized paintings. With an average runtime of 15 minutes and over an hour and a half of animation to explore, viewers can play Cat Burglar multiple times and unlock previously unseen sequences of Rowdy trying to outsmart Peanut. It will premiere on Tuesday the 22nd of February on Netflix UK and worldwide. Choose Your Own Adventure is back again.
Indeed.
With trivia.
Yeah. Now, is this... have we got an age for this?
No, it doesn't say.
Because would this be a school lesson, for instance?
Yeah, well, you watch it or play it and find out. I mean, I'm intrigued. I think for the novelty value alone, it's the same as Bandersnatch was. I wasn't overly bothered about it from a narrative perspective, if you like, but
Yeah.
just I was intrigued to see how it would be done, and it was
Like the
it was
format
cool.
of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's the same for this. I think whatever anyone brings out in this kind of format for a long while is going to be of interest, just for the novelty. But then, like anything, that novelty is going to wear off, and it has to be worthy of spending your time on.
Yeah, but it's not long by the looks of it, and it's by
Well, no.
Charlie Brooker, so hopefully it's good.
Exactly.
Just as a complete aside from news, did I tell you that we had a go at doing Death Trap Dungeon at school with the book and the sheet and
Did
the
you?
dice? Yeah, they got well into it, and then I think when we died the third time, one of them was like, So if we keep our finger on the number, we can go back and just see what would happen if we did the other thing, so we wouldn't have to die. I thought, yeah, they've learned now.
Yeah.
And then we start. But yeah, they enjoyed it. It was a bit of reading, a bit of fun, and all that. And it's, you know, I was trying to revive it all, but I don't know if I've gone that far yet. But it was, they liked it though. About a group, about 9 kids sat round. Your turn to roll the dice. If we need a 6 to beat the dragon or whatever it was, and that. Yeah, even the girls as well, boys and girls. It was, yeah.
And X-File was one of them. Anyway.
But yeah, so Choose Your Own Adventure is back with Charlie
Right,
Brooker.
I think... No, I was about to say finally, but it's not finally. Starfleet Academy series is in development at Paramount Plus.
Yet more spin-offs, and this time in the shape of yet another Star Trek series. This time it's Starfleet Academy. According to Deadline, as to be expected, it's set among the College of Cadets mentored for leadership roles in the United Federation of Planets Space Force. Guy Arviolo, co-creator of Stanacatic-led drama Absentia, is currently attached to work on the project.
Absentia.
Gaia.
Guy Violo.
Guy Arviolo? Oh, well, whatever then. That
Yeah,
person
that
who
person.
done that is doing that.
Cool. No. No.
Oh, come on, I put this on the news so we could generate
You'd
some
love some Star Trek.
Star Trek conversation from
but
you,
it's
Paul.
not though, is it?
You have it
It's
tattooed
going to
on
be
your
college
heart.
kids, basically. It could be anything. They just put it in Starfleet so they can get some makeup and some costumes in, and like the odd spaceship flying
You
around.
think it's going to be Starfleet 90210?
Yeah, pretty much. Because what is it? It's all the mentored for leadership roles, isn't it? So yeah, it is. It's 90210. And maybe there's a dropout that just gets to
Just
be-
scrapes through.
Yeah,
That was Kirk. That was Kirk's story. And then he cheated on the test.
Exactly.
Kobayashi Maruya, I think it was called.
so no, another one where they're just clutching at straws to try and milk that cash cow.
Now, I want to see the new one with Anson Mount in it. That's like the one where he's Captain Pike. I think that's going to be really good.
Yeah, maybe.
Have they ruined Star Trek now, Paul?
Pretty much.
So you're not going to be rushing to see this then?
No.
Okay.
Did you
I
say
feel
this
sad. I
aside?
put this on there especially for you.
Did you like Discovery?
I didn't mind Discovery.
Okay. Because a lot of people are like, that's ruined Star Trek because now it's actually fun. It's like, people get shot and killed and blown up, and like the storylines follow one episode to episode, and it's like, yeah, it's just terrible. I kind of liked it. They don't just sit around and talk for 4 hours now.
Yeah.
Oh, I might even check that out because I avoid Star Trek at all costs. So
Oh, you like Discovery because it's not Star Trek. It's a real proper like, how dare they?
cool.
I think someone had sex in an episode.
Oh my word. Okay, so sticking with Paramount Plus announced a release date and dropped the full trailer for the Halo TV series.
I'm going to say this wrong. But anyway, after all the speculation and the teasers that we've talked about before, the live-action drama of Halo will be taking place in a universe that first came to be in 2001 with the launch of the very first Xbox Halo game. Dramatising an epic 26th century conflict between humanity and an alien threat known as the Covenant. Halo the series will weave deeply drawn personal stories with action, adventure, and richly imagined visions of the future. And it's going to land on the streaming platform in the US on March the 24th. There is currently no confirmed date for a UK release or other markets. However, as the launch of Paramount Plus is expected in the same month, it's reasonable to assume Halo will form part of their marketing strategy and be available to watch. So keep tuning in and you will see Master Chef in action.
So Paul, again, this is your baby. Have you seen the trailer yet?
Not the new one.
Oh,
I was looking forward to it anyway. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out.
To the uninitiated,
watch
what can we expect from Halo? If someone's like they've never heard of the game, because then we get the game.
So
Like,
it's
'cause
pretty.
some of the kids at school now were like, "That's one of the old games, sir."
Yeah. So if it is following on from the original game in 2001 with Master Chef, And then it's basically
21 years ago. Yeah.
it's basically
Sugar.
him with a power suit, which is I used to think was cool, and he goes around killing lots of aliens with lots of weapons that he upgrades and buggies it can ride on. It was a great game at the time. Great game. And yeah, the thing that concerns me is that dramatizing an epic 26th century conflict, if that hasn't got roads for different prequels, spin-offs, and, and everything else shoved into what could be in the making, then I don't know what does. But yeah, I was looking forward to this series, but let's see if I can watch it and how I can watch it. I'll report.
Cool.
Okay, in that case, unless there's any breaking news coming through from Twitter or anything like that, Brett.
Oh, we have got the Bruce Willis getting his own category at
Oh,
the
yeah.
Razzies this year because of just all the awful films that he's made in 2021.
So why do we think that's not why do we think he's getting his own Razzie? We can get that, but why is he making so many bad films?
Money.
I mean, to be fair, he started making bad films. I mean, Blind Date is a god awful film, but it is.
What, with Kim Basinger?
Yes,
That was an amazing film.
it's not an amazing.
It's a farce, but it was
No,
great.
you're right. It is a farce, but it's not.
It was in 1986, it was. It was
Yeah,
an
but,
amazing
you
film.
know-
It got him out of Moonlighting. Was that why you hate him?
No, yeah. there's
We've
that.
uncovered it now. They
I don't
ruined the
hate him.
Moonlighting.
I know. I genuinely don't. I actually. I do. I like Bruce Willis, but I don't. I'm not a fan of Blind Date. And you're right. It might be down to the fact that it took him away from from Moonlighting. That last season was terrible.
What was the one where he
Oh,
was
sad.
actually the baby, and then she
I think that was
lost the
the last
baby,
season.
and he was like in her stomach and stuff. Oh, it was
Look
just
who's
weird.
talking.
No, there is an episode
there's-
of
there's-
Moonlighting
there's-
where-
yeah.
where Sybil Shepherd is like pregnant with his baby, but he's the baby stood in her start talking, and then she like loses it at the end, and he
That rings
disappears.
a bell. It's been so
And it
long.
was just like I just always remember that 'cause it was just like, what the? Even as a
Yeah.
child,
I
was
mean,
like,
let's be honest. To be fair, I look back on Moonlighting with rose-tinted glasses, but it jumped the shark
Yeah.
long before it finished.
Well, it was once they got together because then that was it.
Yeah,
it
because
was
it,
kind of.
it was always the will they won't.
I
thing
always
anyway.
liked Curtis
I just like the
Armstrong
way
anyway.
that they would talk to the camera and break the fourth
Oh
wall
yes,
and
I
stuff
mean
like
it
that.
broke a lot of ground, and all the different rhymes when they picked up the phones and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I still do that at work.
And
man.
but Bruce Willis, yeah, what did happen? Because I mean, this is one of the cornerstones of Planet Hollywood.
Yeah,
You know, Willis, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and was there another one? Or was it just that? It was those three, wasn't it?
just
They
those
were
three, yeah.
Planet Hollywood,
yeah.
and now he's up for an Razzie Award. He's been nominated 8 times in the category that they've given himself of like Bruce Willis's worst performance of 2021, with such films as American Siege, Apex, Cosmic Sin, Deadlock, and Out of Death.
Out of death.
Death, you know. And okay, 66 is a bit older now, but he still kind of looks in decent enough shape.
He could do a decent performance in a decent film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let's face it, Armageddon, he wasn't necessarily jumping around and killing or doing most of his stunts himself, but he still did a
Yeah, I mean, Sin
good
City.
performance.
Sin City.
Yeah.
It was brilliant in that. I mean, there's most Bruce Willis films I do like,
I
but
guess that their film, even those films, they're 25 years ago,
probably
12
more than
Monkeys.
that.
not more.
But
So where's it all gone wrong?
Agent.
Is it just that he's got
his agent, blame his agent.
too much to spend on alimony or something?
Could
That
be.
He's just taking everything that comes his way.
No, it really is because it's like I don't think he's that hard up for the cash.
Who
And,
knows?
I
Has
just
he?
don't
No,
know.
I was about to say, has he done a decent film since his Friends cameos? But I guess Armageddon was probably after that, wasn't it? And I'm not saying it's a decent film, but
I
they were
like
still
Armageddon.
blockbusters.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
then.
it's a good summer blockbuster.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to be Nicolas Cage,
To be fair,
but
in
he's
Fortress,
making the wrong decisions.
yeah, maybe to be fair, in Fortress, he does star with Jesse Metcalfe, who was in Neighbours and House.
Maybe we
And
need to do an episode on where
What-
it's all gone wrong for
whatever
Bruce Willis.
happened to Bruce Willis. Yeah, no, it's just weird. Maybe he is just one of those. I just want to try stuff that seems like fun now, or maybe he's doing that like. Well, it seems Nicolas Cage keeps getting work, so I'm just going to get random stuff, and people like him. Let us know what you think. What happened? Where
Well,
did it
I
go
don't think
wrong?
most of it's going to make it into the actual podcast. So
Might have a point there. So then, I think that brings tonight's fun and frivolity to a conclusion. So there's nothing left to say other than don't forget to rate and review us on your preferred podcast app. It all helps. If you're a fan of little movie quizzes, nostalgia, and 80s TV and 80s films, find us on TikTok. Thank you very much. Find us on TikTok, and you'll see a few.
Yeah. We have new stuff dropping on there like Anne-Marie all the time.
Yeah.
And for everything, the central hub of our nervous system is cultfaction.com, where you can find every single thing, every social media, all our news stories, all our articles, our Heroes of Cult, and everything on there.
Yeah. Check out why we don't need another Matrix sequel.
Yes. As predicted over a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a goodbye from me.
it's a goodbye from me.
And a farewell from me.
Superman.
Restore the Snyderverse. I just suddenly realised I didn't have anything on, so it was just like...
Brett he's unplugged.
Oh, the summer nights, so well, oh, well, oh, well, oh. Dig out some muffs. Haha, bum, bum, bum.
I'm a bit negative. Hey, you, I can be your girl.
Big blockbuster.
Fur burgers.
Baby, I get down on my knees for you. Summer loving, have me a blast.